Welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to look at the following WWE news and rumors. The Fiend called garbage and sh*t by a wrestling legend. Randy Orton reveals why he won't use WWE as his bridge to Hollywood as John Cena and Batista did. We are also going to look at the best and worst of this week's episode of WWE SmackDown, which will include the real reason why there was no title exchange on SmackDown, big mistake with 4 current champions, Roman Reigns' new theme song and more. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more wrestling content. There was a grandiose feeling about this week's WWE SmackDown episode. There were 2 title matches, and because Roman Reigns does not always defend his Universal Championship on WWE SmackDown, fans knew that this was the show to watch. Did the show deliver? Yes, this week's episode was certainly a breeze to sit through, and it was over in no time at all. It did not drag on past the sweet spot, as Raw manages to do every single week. However, a few nagging issues about WWE SmackDown need to be highlighted in this video. These are not issues restricted to this brand alone, but major grievances with the current product. What did you guys think of the show? Did it live up to all the hype? Number 1 best. For WWE SmackDown superstars to vie for the prestigious Intercontinental Championship. The main reason why there was no change in the Intercontinental Championship picture on WWE SmackDown is very simple. Vince McMahon and his creative team are clearly headed in a fatal 4-way direction with Apollo Crews, Big E, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. It's also great to see that just because they're all heels, the bad guys in this feud are not aligned in philosophy. Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews are not friends, and neither are the good guys necessarily Big E and Kevin Owens. As for Commander Aziz, even though he's been given the almost treatment, where we're going to wait a while before he steps into the ring, his very presence is impressive. A man is known by the company he keeps, and WWE SmackDown star Apollo Crews just feels like a significantly bigger star with Aziz by his side. Who do you think Crews will drop the Intercontinental Championship to? Number 1, worst. Why do current champions have to be pinned on WWE SmackDown to secure title shots? Does WWE SmackDown star Tamina have to continue to deliver her splashes, even though we know that her version is a tribute to her legendary father, Jimmy Superfly Snuka? Tamina's splashes look awkward and very poorly executed, and that's not even the central crux of the issue here. Why did 2 pairs of tag team champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as well as Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode have to get pinned on this week's show to advance storylines along? This is an inherent issue with the booking on WWE SmackDown and Raw, where challengers earn their shots by pinning current champions. Some of the mystique is already lost if you've already seen the champion get pinned. Do you necessarily want to see the upcoming WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship contest or the Women's Tag Team Championship match in that case? It does not help that both of these championship units seem bland and uninteresting because of shorty booking. Number 2, best. Everything about the WWE SmackDown main event was pretty good. One of the coolest WWE SmackDown moments was the majestic sight of Roman Reigns, or rather the sound, coming out to new theme music. Many have said that this is the end of the final component of the Shield, the trademark music that Roman Reigns used to be known for. The new song is grand, and it is, for lack of a better phrase, worthy of someone who dubs himself a tribal chief. Also, did anyone catch the promo that Paul Heyman cut before the match? It was so good. Heyman reminded everyone watching the current WWE SmackDown product, people who may not necessarily be familiar with his work, why he is considered to be one of the greatest of all time. As for the WWE SmackDown main event, it was a work of art. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns told the story of 2 evenly matched athletes laying it all on the line for the Universal Championship. It was a great piece of business. Number 2, worst. Are we even hyped for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship picture? Bianca Belair won the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship in the main event of WrestleMania, and ever since then, she's been treated as a side character and not the star that she truly is. Yes, she is currently embroiled in a feud with Bayley, but is this a program that's been built up like the ones in the men's division? This is obviously not a slight towards Bianca Belair or Bayley, both of whom are exceptionally gifted. It's a knock at the booking team, who should be building Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a bigger manner than they currently are. Bayley has incredible comedic chops, and if she had been allowed to shine, imagine how cool this feud could have been. Yes, instead of a 6-person tag team match, Bayley should have been working up the ranks and earning heel heat in the process. It would have also allowed Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan to get more TV time on WWE SmackDown, instead of awaiting their turn in the back. Number 3, Best, Aleister Black's haunting WWE SmackDown promos. So, because this was a pretty fun episode of WWE SmackDown, let's end on a positive note. This is not a best and worst, as is our tradition, but instead, we end with another best. Aleister Black's promo was well made and it did get us hyped for his return. Say what you will about the WWE SmackDown product overall, one thing is for sure. The execution when it comes to promos and video packages is simply flawless. So, that was WWE SmackDown in a nutshell. Did you enjoy the show, or are there aspects you didn't care for? Do let us know in the comments below, and also let us know what you expect on the throwback episode of WWE SmackDown. Randy Orton is still going strong at the age of 41, and he doesn't plan on hanging up his boots for the next few years. Despite operating at a very high level, there is always talk regarding Orton's possible retirement and what he wants to do after wrapping up his in-ring career. Fans can strike Hollywood off the list though, as the legend killer isn't too keen on making the high-profile jump. Orton is aware that many wrestlers have branched out of wrestling, or have created multiple post-retirement avenues to explore. Randy Orton, however, would love to be a WWE lifer if given a chance. You know, a lot of guys, I see them branching out and do other things or making sure they have something lined up for when they can't wrestle anymore. And I don't know if this is showing my cards or not, but I kind of see myself being in WWE, for life. I don't know why I would go anywhere else. Who knows what the future holds, Randy Orton stated. Randy Orton explained that a Hollywood transition doesn't appeal to him as he isn't passionate about acting. He mentioned Batista and John Cena as examples of talent who used WWE as a stepping stone to get to the world of movies, while Orton has acted in a handful of films before, and continues to get movie scripts. He isn't high on the idea of pursuing acting as a full-time gig. But although I love movies, and I love sending in auditions, almost monthly, hell, I got a script right now I'm looking at. But, I don't think acting is my passion. I'm not trying to move to Hollywood or move to New York and be a full-time actor. The way Batista did it, the way Cena did it, is that they used WWE as kind of a jumping board to go to Hollywood and all that stuff, Orton explained. Randy Orton is seemingly very pleased with his position in WWE as he is regularly featured and is paid handsomely for his efforts. The 14-time WWE champion also loves the locker room atmosphere, and has a good relationship with all the superstars. I think I'm content is the wrong word, happy is the right word with kind of my place in the WWE right now. The money is good, the talent is good. The locker room is great. I have a good relationship with all the people in charge, and I don't see why I would change that, and I only see all of those different variables I just mentioned. I only see them getting better over the coming years, stated the legend killer. While Randy Orton wouldn't mind being a Marvel superhero, the veteran grappler understands the amount of work required to execute a significant movie role. The former WWE champion doesn't feel any amount of money can lure him away from wrestling, as he loves showing up to perform in the ring every week. So at 41, I can honestly say if I'm on a contract where I'm able to still wrestle a handful of years in my later 40s, possibly even as I'm a 50-year-old man, I would love to do it, said Randy Orton. Although being the next Marvel superhero would be really awesome, the work that would go into that and the amount of time I would have to take away from the WWE, I don't know if there is a price tag you can put on that would make it worth it for me to step away from what I love so much for so long, that being my wife and family, but also WWE. I like showing up each week, Orton concluded. During the hour-long interview, Randy Orton also revealed how his wife holds the key to his WWE retirement. Pro wrestling legend Jim Cornette had some strong opinions about Bray Wyatt the Fiend on the latest edition of Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru. The Fiend has been a mainstay on the WWE roster for around 2 years now. The character has received a mixed response from the WWE universe, many of whom are not fans of the supernatural aspect of the gimmick. Jim Cornette is one of those people. Here's what he had to say about Bray Wyatt. "This whole thing is just, probably the worst," Cornette said. "And over the last year and a half or 2 years, imagine how much that takes in, as probably 50% of it has involved the Fiend. Every time we see him it's garbage. It's goofy King puppets appearing out of nowhere. It's supernatural bullet, black sludge vomit, being killed in front of us, and then just getting up or whatever. No, it's totally unsalvageable. That's not wrestling anymore. so I don't know what the F-King attraction is that anybody would be entertained by this horse's tea, but no, I wouldn't book the Fiend except possibly a long stay at the mental institution. I mean the whole thing, the Firefly vignettes, the whole thing is an embarrassment to the business, Jim Cornette said. Bray Wyatt's alter ego The Fiend kicked off a feud with a former nemesis Randy Orton in 2020. The feud seemingly ended at TLC 2020 where Orton defeated Wyatt and burned him alive, but Alexa Bliss later hinted that The Fiend would return to exact revenge. Bray Wyatt came back on the road to WrestleMania 37 and aided Bliss in defeating Orton. The Viper had the last laugh though, as he defeated Wyatt at the Show of Shows. This wasn't the first time Wyatt had lost to Orton at WrestleMania. Orton had previously defeated Wyatt for the WWE title at WrestleMania 33 in 2017. There have been several big-time matches involving The Fiend that weren't well received by the WWE Universe. His Hell in a Cell outing with Seth Rollins, both WrestleMania encounters with Orton and his squash loss to Goldberg last year, are a few examples. His supernatural elements haven't been a big hit with a lot of fans as well. Do you agree with Cornette? What should be WWE's direction for Bray Wyatt moving forward? Let us know below. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more wrestling content. See you in the next video.